Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. It's been about a month since my last release, my apologies for that, but these few things that I've been working on were actually pretty big changes and very good for the game. So I hope you enjoy seeing these awesome updates. Now the three major things that I've been working on recently would be creating a save system so that progress can be maintained when opening or closing the game. I added a bunch of new costumes, and this one I'm really proud of. I updated the sight collision for the enemies when they catch you so that now you can hide behind cover. Now part of the progress that I've done so far has kind of been possible due to like a new working schedule that I've been using. So basically what I've been doing is I've been getting up early in the morning, doing some run, workout, reading, and then I spend a little bit of time working on something kind of little in the game. Usually it's something like adding content that is really time consuming but kind of really easy to do. And so using that, I actually added 3 new costumes for the game. Basically just 3 different colors for girl characters that you can play as now. So that's kind of part 1. The second major update that I've been working on is the updated save game system. Basically how it works is that in G-Develop, in this game at least, there's 2 different levels. So one of them of course is the main game where the player actually plays the game. And then the second is the main menu. There's 2 basic kinds of variables in the engine. There's global variables and scene variables. Scene variables can only really be read within the one particular level. Global variables are how you get around that. They are variables that can be read across all levels of your game. Now where the save system got kind of difficult was that you couldn't really save global variables. I know there's a way to do it in G-Develop, but I had a hard enough time wrapping my head around saving with the scene variables. So anyway, all the saving happens in the main menu level, but when you're playing the game, that is editing these global variables, which are, like I said, saved between level changes. So what happens is, at the end of a run, the game will actually save everything that you did to these global variables. And then when you go back to the main menu will read these global variables, convert them to the scene variables, which can then be saved. That way, when you close out of the game, you can come back and just pick up right where you left off. Now when saving, this kind of has to happen for a few different things. One of them is the resources, the money or the lives that you are currently at. And then there's another set of things in the game that need to be saved, like the difficulty tier, the number of levels that you're on, and then also there's some certain player values that need to be saved as well. The player's costume or the current ability that the player is using. So that way when let's say you change to a purple costume, and then you pick the teleporting ability. Now, if you close out of the game, when you come back, it'll actually save and maintain those selections that you made. Now, with that done, I moved on to the next order of business, and that's updating the enemy sight functionality. Now this one is the one that really took up time doing, and part of that was because I ran through several different methods of how to do it before I could actually find something that worked. The first thing that I did was I tried to edit the enemy sight based off of the Z order of different assets in the game. I set it so each of the floor tiles were set in these little squares. If the sight object was below the Z order of the floor piece, then the player could actually walk there and not be seen. Now the problem arose is because it kind of just looked awful. And also the sight object was so big, if the enemy was right in front of a rock, the tile behind it would be hidden, but then it could reappear right at the end, and then it just looked like there was a missing block or a missing box in the middle of the sight object. So I moved on to something else. I decided that I wanted to use a light source because that would react properly to obstacles that were in the game. And that kind of was what I felt would be the best way to make it so it looked right. Now the problem that I had was that the light object, although I could put a mask on it to make it be a cone, I couldn't get it to rotate in G-Develop. To my knowledge, or as far as my research got me, it can't really be done that way. So what I did was I just created 4 different light sources and then had all of them shut off besides the one which is in the direction that they're facing. The problem is like if I based the collision on it, the player could still be caught on a side that they weren't looking at. Although you could hide these, you couldn't really shut them off. So it ended up just not working the way I wanted it to. So that led me to my current method for doing this, which is using ray casting, which I think turned out practically perfect. So as you can see, the new way that it works is it kind of looks like there's a real light source there, which I find amazing because it just looks more real. And then this light source can actually be hidden properly from different obstacles. So I can actually hide and you won't actually see see me behind this rock. Now how it works is, at the beginning of the game, the enemies will have a sight cone attached to it, which looks like this. It's just a little sprite that I created that has a bit of a cone here. And then the light source will sit right here, because there's an attach point there. And then the light will be blocked by this little sight cone here, and it'll only emit this way. So what I did was we create that sight cone at the enemy's, basically point of view. This sight cone is hidden so the player can't see it. And then a light source is actually attached to that sight cone. And then that way, whenever the enemy moves, the sight cone angle is changed and then the light source is reattached to where the new sight cone is. All this happens at once, so it looks like the player turns and then their sight is just changed that way. Now how the enemy catches the player now is with raycasting. So what I did was I created a raycast that starts from where the light is emitted. Now this raycast kind of functions entirely outside of the functionality of the light. The light is basically just, it does reflect the endpoint of the raycast, but also it technically functions completely as a visual aid for the player. And I created 5 different raycasts, one from the center, the far left and right corners, and then one in between the left and right and the centers. So how this ends up working is the player will walk someplace within the light source and then they'll be caught. So it still feels like you're within the light source range, but it's actually these raycasts that are catching you. Now, updating the enemy sight was kind of the most common feedback that I got from playtesters. Originally, the enemy sight was based off of the player colliding with a sprite object, and that sprite object was always there despite obstacles being in the way. So that didn't really work. I guess everyone kind of expects to be able to be unseen when hiding behind rocks as enemies walk by. I mean, let's be real. So I was very happy to get this renovated. That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at my progress so far. If you liked what you saw and you're looking to see more, like and subscribe so you can be alerted the next time I release a video. You can also click here to see more videos that I have on this game. Thanks for watching, have a nice day, and we'll see you next time.